The Monetary Policy Committee met on 3rd, 4th and 5th February 21 and deliberated on current and evolving macroeconomic and financial developments, both domestic and global. The MPC voted unanimously to leave the policy repo rate unchanged at 4%. It also unanimously decided to continue with the accommodative stance of monetary policy as long as necessary, at least through the current financial year and into the next year, to revive growth on a durable basis and mitigate the impact of COVID-19 while ensuring that inflation remains within the target going forward. The marginal standing facility rate and the bank rate remain unchanged at 4.25%. The reverse repo rate stands unchanged at 3.35%. GDP growth is projected at 10.5% in 21-22, in the range of 26.2% to 8.3% in H1 and 6% in Q3 of the coming financial year, that is 21-22. Petroleum product prices have reached historic highs as international crude prices surged in recent months and the high indirect taxes remain both in the center and in the states. These, along with the sharp increase in industrial raw material prices, have resulted in a broad-based increase in prices of services and manufacturing products in recent months. Going forward, concerted policy action by both center and states is critical to ensure that the ongoing cost build-up does not escalate further. Taking into consideration all these factors, the projection for CPI inflation has been revised to 5.2% for Q4 of the current financial year, that is from January to March, and to 5.2% to 5% in the H1. Let me repeat, for the current quarter our projection is that CPI inflation will be 5.2%, and for H1 the range we are giving is 5.2% to 5%. And for Q3 of next year, we are projecting 4.3%. And we are assessing that the risks would be broadly balanced. With a view to support revival of activity in specific stressed sectors, the RBI had announced the TLTRO on-tap scheme for banks on October 9th, 2020. Given that NBFCs are well-recognized conduits in reaching out to the last mile in various sectors, it is now proposed to provide funds from banks under the TLTRO on-tap scheme to NBFCs for incremental lending to specified stressed sectors. To tide over the disruption caused by COVID-19, the cash reserve ratio of all banks was reduced by 100 basis points to 3% for a period of 1 year ending 26th March 21. On a review of monetary and liquidity conditions, it has been decided to gradually restore the CRR in 2 phases in a non-disruptive manner to 3.5% effective from March 27th and 4% effective from May 22nd, 2021. As mentioned earlier, the CRR normalization opens up space for a variety of market operations of the RBI to inject additional liquidity. On March 27th last year, banks were allowed to avail of funds under the Marginal Standing Facility (MSF) by dipping into statutory liquidity ratio up to an additional 1% of net time and demand liabilities. This facility, which was extended in phases up to 31st March 2021, that is coming 31st March, will now be available for a further period of another 6 months, that is up to September 30th, 2021, to provide comfort to banks on their liquidity requirements. This dispensation provides increased access to funds to the extent of rupees 1.53 lakh crores. In order to provide certainty to market participants in the context of the borrowing program of the center and states for 21-22, it has now been decided to extend the dispensation of enhanced HTM of 22% up to March 31st, 2023. In order to incentivize new credit flow to MSME borrowers, scheduled commercial banks will be allowed to deduct credit disbursed to new MSME borrowers from their NDTL. for calculation of CRR. For the purpose of this exemption, new MSME borrowers would be those who have not availed any credit facilities from the banking system as on 1st January 21. Microfinance sector plays an important role in the last mile delivery of credit to the needy segments. In view of the evolving role of the sector and the need for a robust framework for enhanced delivery of last mile credit and strengthening consumer protection, the Reserve Bank will come out with a consultative document harmonizing regulatory frameworks applicable to various regulated lenders in the microfinance space. The recent amendments to the Banking Regulation Act 1949 have brought near parity in regulatory and supervisory powers between urban cooperative banks and commercial banks, including those related to governance, audit and resolution. An expert committee will be constituted to provide a medium-term roadmap for strengthening the sector. The central government and the Reserve Bank have taken several measures to encourage retail investment in government securities. In continuation of these efforts, it is proposed to provide retail investors with online access to government securities market, both primary and secondary, directly through the Reserve Bank, and we are calling it Retail Direct. This will broaden the investor base and provide retail investors with enhanced access to participate in the government securities market. This is a major structural reform, placing India amongst select few countries which have similar facilities. It has to be noted that retail investors will have now direct access to participate in the GSEC market, both primary and secondary, and directly they can open an account with the Reserve Bank. And this kind of direct access which is being given to the retail investors in GSEC market, I think very few countries in the world have it, and India now joins that league. This is a major structural reform which the RBI has decided to implement. With enhanced penetration and efficiency of digital payments, major payment system operators would be required to facilitate setting up of a centralized industry-wide 24/7 helpline for addressing customer queries in respect of various digital payment products and give information on available grievance redress mechanisms. Going forward, the facility of redress of customer grievances through the helpline shall be considered. This is envisaged to enhance consumer trust and confidence in the digital payments ecosystem. Guidelines on outsourcing for operators and participants of authorized payment systems, and this is the next measure I am going to announce. The resilience of the digital payments ecosystem to operational risks needs to be constantly upgraded. A potential area of operational risk is associated with outsourcing by payment system operators and participants of authorized payment systems. To manage the attendant risks in outsourcing and ensure that a code of conduct is adhered to while outsourcing payment and settlement related services, the Reserve Bank shall issue guidelines on outsourcing of such services by these entities. At present, the framework for alternate dispute resolution consists of 3 separate ombudsman schemes for banks, NBFCs and non-bank prepaid issuers. These 3 schemes are operated by the RBI from 22 ombudsman offices located across the country. To make the ombudsman mechanism simpler, efficient and more responsive, it has been decided to integrate the 3 ombudsman schemes and introduce centralized processing of grievances following a one nation, one ombudsman approach.